What's up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my NFL DFS picks for Monday Night Football. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another NFL DFS picks video. This time we are breaking down the Monday Night Football slate, and we have two games on this slate. We have the Steelers versus the Giants, and we have the Titans versus the Broncos. Going to be breaking it all down for you guys, going through some players I'm looking at, talking about some injury news here. There could be some guys that aren't really in play right now, but if certain guys sit out, they definitely can become in play, especially on a two-game slate here, and we'll definitely talk about it. Before we get started, if you guys can leave a like, subscribe if you haven't not yet, would really appreciate that a ton, and also check out my content throughout the week. Going to be doing a Week 2 first look video, going to be doing my positional videos where I talk through each position and talk about my favorite plays, and then a final thoughts video towards the end of the week. So make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss out on all of that. But with that said, we're going to get into the video here right now. So the Steelers are 6-point favorites against the Giants with a 45.5 game point total, and the Titans are 3-point favorites against the Broncos with a 41-point game total as well. I do want to attack this Giants defense. Obviously, the Steelers defense is the best defense on the slate. They're very, very good, so I'm not going to be all that interested in targeting them, but the Giants is the defense that I do want to attack. So we are going to start up top with the quarterbacks and work our way all the way down to the tight ends here. And we're going to start with Ben Roethlisberger, and I think he's a good play here. Obviously, if you're able to pay up for a quarterback and you see Ben there, he's obviously a good play. I'm personally going down most likely and punting at quarterback so I can fit the stud running backs into my lineup. I would like to get Barkley and Henry and Connor all in my lineup here. But if not, Ben Roethlisberger is a good play. Giants allowed the fifth most passing yards last year with 279.4 passing yards per game. And the thing about Big Ben is he's coming off of a long layoff, so maybe he's a little bit rusty, but if not, I think he should be fine. But like I said, I'm probably going to pay down, but can't blame you for wanting to attack this Giants defense and maybe do like a Juju and Ben Roethlisberger stack. So Ben is somebody who I will be playing, but I'm most likely going to have more lineups without him in it because I do want to get a lot of great running backs into my lineup. All right, Drew Lock here. 5,400. This is my probably preferred play from a value perspective. I mean, 1,020 yards last year in 5 games with 7 touchdowns. He was a rookie last year. He should maybe be making some improvements here. I think he's a solid play here against this Titans defense who did allow the 7th most passing yards per game last year. It's just I don't really think there's much upside, but it really doesn't matter. If he can get into the end zone a couple times, I think it will definitely be worth it because he allows me to go up and get like Barkley into my lineup, Connor into my lineup, and all those guys. So for that reason, I do like Drew Lock as a quarterback play here. Getting into the next play here, and that is SAQUON Barkley. Obviously a fantastic player, 8,000, the most expensive running back on the slate. Going against a very, very tough defense. The Steelers were 4th against the running back last year, but it really doesn't matter. He's one of those guys where it really doesn't matter the matchup. He's always in play because of the volume he's going to get. He's going to get 20-plus touches. He's going to have touchdown upside. If the Giants score, there's a good chance it is SAQUON Barkley getting into the end zone. So for that reason, I do like Barkley. Maybe it'll take off some ownership because of how good the Steelers' defense is and because of how pricey Barkley is here. Maybe people won't want to go up and get him. Maybe they'd rather play Henry or rather play Connor. I personally want to play all 3 in my lineup, but I do want some Barkley in my lineup for sure because he has a ton of upside regardless of how not so great the matchup is. Getting into Derrick Henry here, and Henry is someone I really like. I've been really high on this guy. A lot of people hated on him, but he's finally coming into form. He had a fantastic season last year, almost 2,000 yards, 21 touchdowns. Just a great, great year, and I really like him. So Derrick Henry, Denver is decent against the run. They're 10th against running backs last year, but it really doesn't matter with Henry. He's not going to get pass-catching upside is the only downfall on Henry, but it really doesn't matter. He's going to get 20-plus carries here, most likely going to find the end zone, 7,500. If you do want to get off of Barkley, I think Henry's a good option as well. James Conner, 6,400. I think this is way too cheap for James Conner. We all saw what he did with Ben Roethlisberger a couple of years ago. He looked fantastic. And, the Giants were 20th against running backs last year. So good matchup here for Conner. I like the price. pass catching upside. I will have a decent amount of him. It should get the bulk of the carries, but there are some other running backs that may come in like for a change of pace role. But other than that, he should be good, and hopefully he finds the end zone because I have a decent amount of Connor. Melvin Gordon III. This is tough because, of course, Philip Lindsay and him are going to be splitting carries. We don't know who's going to do what, and then how many carries Melvin Gordon's going to get and all that yet. So we'll find out after this week. But 5,100 for a guy as talented as Melvin Gordon, someone who can catch passes. I think it's worth a shot here. I'm not overly interested in this, but I think if I had to pick between Lindsay or Melvin Gordon, I'd probably take a shot on the more talented running back there. Tennessee was 17th against running backs last year, so I think there is some sneaky upside there. Maybe they do want to get Melvin Gordon started early this year, and maybe they give him a decent amount of opportunities. And as talented as he is, I think he can definitely take those opportunities and score some fantasy points. So 5,100 is something that really intrigues me, but it is tough because he is going to be splitting a bunch of carries with Philip Lindsay there. Juju Smith-Schuster. I don't know. I like this play quite a bit. We all saw what he did with Ben Roethlisberger a couple years ago. Last year he didn't have the best season, but that's because Ben Roethlisberger was not playing. So I'm assuming he's going to have a big bounce back year. 7,200. I think there's a bunch of upside here for Juju Smith-Schuster. And I'm going to have probably a decent amount of them. The Giants were 28th against wide receivers last year, so can't ask for a better matchup. And Ben Roethlisberger really likes this dude. So for that reason, I will have a decent amount of them. Like I said, my main priority is those running backs. But if I'm able to go up and get Juju, I will more than definitely do so. And there is a lot of value on this slate as well that we'll talk about. So I'm assuming you're going to be able to get a couple stud running backs. You can go up and get Juju. So I do like that quite a bit. Courtland Sutton, so he's questionable, 5,600 if he does play. Obviously, he's in play at that price. Maybe a lock stack with Sutton is not a bad idea, but if he does not play, I will definitely gravitate towards Jerry Jeudy, the rookie, from Alabama. He looks really, really good to me. Has a really good camp as well. They really like this guy, 4,200, very cheap price there. And if Sutton doesn't play, I'm going to definitely play some Jeudy at that price. And you can also go and play Tim Patrick as well, 3,700. Of course, if Sutton does not play, Patrick is definitely going to have a role in this offense, and it will be way too cheap for the amount of targets he's going to receive. But that is if Sutton does not play. So if Sutton plays, I'll probably play some Sutton. I'll probably play some Jeudy, but if he does not play, I'll be more confident in that Jeudy play for sure. I really like that Jeudy guy. Sterling Shepard is very interesting, 5,200, very cheap. I know the matchup is very, very tough against Pittsburgh, but he's going to get a decent amount of targets. He had 83 targets in only 10 games last year, 57 receptions. So the target upside is going to be there. And I don't know, I think they're talking about Golden Tate might not be playing. And if that is true, then I will really, really up my ownership on a guy like Shepard there, because then they'll only have to compete with Slayton and Engram and all that. As for Slayton, I think he's a fine play, but I'm really looking to see if Golden Tate is playing or not. Even if Golden Tate plays, I'll probably still play some Shepard because he's still going to have that high target, high reception upside there at a pretty solid price. But like I said earlier, this Steelers defense is not something I want to go out of my way and target. All right, Deontay Johnson, first of all, very, very cheap. He had a very decent year last year, 4,400, 680 yards last year, which was more than Juju Smith-Schuster, believe it or not. Of course, he played a couple more games, but still 5 touchdowns. Against this Giants defense, who was 28th against the wide receivers, I think it's worth a couple shots. I think he's pretty talented. Very curious to see him play this year and see how he does, see if he can build off of what he did last year with Ben Roethlisberger at quarterback now. So 4,400, I think it's worth a shot. Great matchup. Second guy behind Juju Smith-Schuster there. Getting into the tight ends here, we have Evan Engram, 5,400. The thing about this is he's the most talented tight end on the slate, and pretty much it's not even close there. He has the most upside. Pittsburgh was 12th against the tight ends last year. Like I said, not a defense I want to target, but Evan Ingram's fine if you can afford him, 5,400. Noah Fant, he is 4,600. The Titans were 22nd against the tight end last year. That's probably where I'll go quite a bit. I like Ingram as well, but I like Font too. And then the other guy I want to touch on real quick is just There's Font there, and then Eric Ebron, and this is pretty interesting here. They said that he's been working on his run blocking, so he's going to be on the field a little bit more than he usually would be. He's typically just a pass catching tight end, and I don't know. He has a decent matchup here. The Giants were 20th against the tight end. Ben Roethlisberger at quarterback, probably going to throw the ball quite a bit. I think it's worth a couple of plays at 4,300. But tight end is pretty tough for me this week. I mean, it can really go either way. Evan Ingram, Noah Font, Eric Ebron. I'm not going out of my way to play either one. I was probably going to play whichever one fits into my lineup that I'm building. My main priorities are going to be those stud running backs, Barkley, Connor, and Henry, and then Juju, and then probably punt down at quarterback, so I'm able to fit those in there. I think that would be a good strategy there. For defense, obviously the Steelers going against the Giants. Steelers is a fantastic defensive play if you're able to go up there and pay up for them, 3,700. I typically like to punt on defense. I did punt for our defense on Sunday. I had the Washington football team. They scored like 15 points. I had them in a couple lineups. So don't know if I want to play the Giants defense at 2,300 because I will have a ton of Steelers. So maybe the Broncos at 2,800 is maybe where I'd go for a punt defense. Titans 3,100. I mean, any defense is fine this week. If you're able to pay up, just really whatever one fits into your lineup, I think that would be the best option. That's personally what I'm doing there. That's about it for you guys. Before we leave here, if you guys can leave a like, subscribe if you have not yet, would really appreciate that a ton. And make sure you look out from all my other content. My first look stuff. I'm going to be giving out a first look lineup as well. My positional videos where I go position by position talking about my favorite DFS plays for the week, and then my final thoughts video as well. That's about it, guys, and thank you for watching, and good luck.